Hello and welcome to the Palace to the Core podcast. My name is Steve and thank you for joining me today. Apologise that this episode is a little bit late, but things get in the way, unfortunately. This is a podcast and also a YouTube channel, so if you're listening to this as a podcast and you want to see me for some bizarre reason, then you can do so. It's Palace to the Core podcast on YouTube. So today I'm going to be talking about the Liverpool game. So if you I'm obviously it's middle of the week now, so you probably have seen it, but if you haven't seen the game or you haven't heard about it and you don't want to get any spoilers, then take a look at that first and then come back here and see what I have to say about it. So on the day we had a pretty unchanged lineup really. We had Geese in goal, Mitchell, Gahey, Anderson and Ward at the back, MacArthur, Kouyaté and Gallagher in the middle, and Zaha, Benteke and Ayew up front. Wasn't entirely sure about Ayew. I mean, I know he works really hard and he does do a great deal for the team. I would probably have preferred to have it Eduard in there, but yeah, I'm not sure about Ayew. I think he does try really hard, but I just don't think he's really in very good form at the moment. But that was the lineup, and for Liverpool they had Alisson in goal, Milner, Conte, De Gea and Timiskas, I do apologise if I'm butchering these names. In the middle, Henderson, Fabinho, and Alcantara. And up front, Mo Salah, Jota and Mane. So they had a pretty good team, and they didn't really have any major problems injury-wise or anything like that. So and they have won, I think it's 4 out of the last 5 games. So it was always going to be a tough ask for us. And but we came out really fast and really worked hard and really played the ball well, and we actually got some pretty good chances early on. We hit the post twice, I think it was. We hit the post actually, and it was very fast opening and trying to catch Liverpool on the back foot, which we've tried to do for a little while now with games. We've tried to come out really fast and really determined to try and unsettle the opposition and get an early goal, and it nearly worked. Twice we nearly scored, and it was certainly a very good start for us from the beginning. Then obviously as the first half grew on, Liverpool started to come back into the game, started to have periods of possession but didn't dominate. And this was the thing about the Palace team. They were playing really well. They were trying to chase the ball down as they have done in previous games this season. They were working really hard for each other, as I know we do, and we had periods of time when we had good possession and good pressure on to their goal. The problem was we couldn't really convert any of the chances that we were getting, and we were getting the odd chance here and there. We just weren't able to convert it, and I think that's one of the problems we've had for the last couple of seasons, which is why I probably would have preferred to have Eduard rather than Ayew up front. But there is obviously a reason why he hasn't done that. Maybe Eduard isn't completely fit yet. Maybe he wants to get him into the game slowly. But as the first half wore on, it became evident that Liverpool was starting to get into their stride. Although we were having good periods of possession here and there, we were trying to create chances, which is always a good thing. I think everybody in the first half played well. Zaha played well. He had a good game, and there was actually something on Talk Sport. I think there was an online interview with Zaha where he was saying that the fans get behind him regardless of what happens, regardless of how well he plays, and they do, and I do. I'm a big fan of Zaha. And he actually played really well again against Liverpool. A couple of times he went down maybe a little bit too easily, but in general, no, he was working really hard and trying to get himself involved and trying to make stuff happen. And that is pretty much how it stayed for most of the game, for most of the first half, I should say. We got the early pressure out of the way, and then they started to come back in again, and it was making things difficult for us. And certainly it looks like Liverpool were going to be able to break us down eventually. But as it happened, it wasn't until the very end of the first half that Sadio Mane, who it was always going to be Mane, he always scores against us, I don't know why, scored his 100th goal in the 43rd minute. And it was a fairly easy goal for him, I think. Defensively we'd worked really hard, but that was a little bit of a lapse of concentration, and Mane was able to put the ball in the back of the net, which is a shame, because I thought that up until that point we looked like we were good for you know, keeping the points even at that point. But that's it. As we went into the first half, 1-0 down, but not out, I don't think. At that point, we looked like we were still in the game. We looked like we were still playing well. And certainly there was a lot to look forward to in the second half. In the second half, again, both teams came out unchanged. I think they did, the second half. And it was difficult in the first half. It was difficult in the second half to begin with, because Liverpool came out as we did in the first half, so they came out quite aggressively, trying to press the ball forward. So they kind of tried to do the same thing to us, to keep us off our guard early on. But we managed to weather that early pressure and continue playing the way that we wanted to play. And we were playing really well again. You know, we were working hard, and we were again creating chances. Again, not quite getting that final ball into the back of the net, which is one of the problems we've struggled with this season. But you know, we were trying hard. We were working to get the players involved, and we were closing them down. Gallagher had another very good game. He was everywhere. He was all over the pitch. He was working incredibly hard. Didn't quite get on the ball as much as I think he wanted to, which is probably one of the reasons why we didn't create as many chances as we could have done. But he was working incredibly hard, as you would expect from him this season. He's been an incredible player for us this season, and I'm hoping that Chelsea will let him go and that we can pick him up, because I think that he will want to stay if a good enough offer was given to him, and I think it should be. So yeah, so we were, second half was kind of about the same thing as the first half, really. It was play was going from backwards and forwards. It wasn't all one way really. And that's how it stayed up until the 78th minute, when Mohamed Salah, as you know, he scored his 101st goal. I think he scored his 101st goal against us. He scored, and it was a good goal. You know, there's nothing you can really say about it. Again, it was another little relaxed concentration, and that kind of that's the only thing I'm thinking about, is the fact that we worked so hard in that first half and the second half. But little lapses of concentration can cause you big problems in the Premier League, and that's the problem that I think we were having. We were having a little bit of lapses of concentration here and there, really only a couple of times, and they were the times when they scored. So it was, you know, it wasn't exactly a rout. And then around the 89th minute, Naby Keita scored the third goal against us, and I think that the second and third goal in particular didn't flatter Liverpool at all. You know, that the result didn't flatter them. Well, it did flatter them, but it didn't flatter the game as whole, because, you know, I think we put enough into that game to maybe only be 1-0 down, or even 1-1 at the end of the game. I don't think that we deserved to lose 3-0. It was lapses of concentration by Riedewald and things like that actually allowed them to get the goals. And I think that if we had worked a bit harder in terms of, you know, not having those lapses in concentration, I think we would have ended up maybe 1-0 down, or even 1-1 if we'd put some of those chances away. And we did bring on some substitutions. Lacey came on, Edouard came on, and Riedewald. Riedewald didn't have a very good game. You know, he doesn't seem to have that many good games for us these days, which is a big shame. I would have probably preferred Will Hughes to come on at that point, but you know, Riedewald came on, didn't really get into the game very much. Didn't really work in terms of having him in the side. Lacey, again, he only came on for a little while, but he looked good. And Edouard had a couple of good chances in the second half, and it certainly looked like they were having a bit of trouble with Edouard. So it would have been interesting to see how he would have fared from the start, maybe in place of Ayew. That would have been very interesting to see. Maybe in the next game we will see him from the start. Hopefully we will, because it will be a good day for us if we do. And that's pretty much it in terms of what happened in the game. It ended up 3-0 to Liverpool, which, as I said before, I don't think was a fair result. I think that we could have at least easily have scored a goal or two in that game. And very promising performance. You know, we worked really hard, played well at times. I don't think that there's anything to worry about necessarily. You know, when you think that we've got a good bench with some good players coming in. You know, obviously you've got Edouard, you've got Lacey, you've got Hughes, and also we've got Eze and Ferguson to come back. So, you know, we've got another 5 players there who are, I think, first team players. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. Why didn't Vieira start Edouard from the beginning? I don't know. Maybe he wants to try and create competition for places, so maybe he's saying to Benteke, look, you've got to start producing the goods, otherwise Edouard's going to be knocking on the door, and he already is. So maybe he's hoping for Benteke to kind of liven up and start firing on all cylinders. I don't know, but certainly it was a good game to watch. You know, I think that we played well, and it certainly wasn't an embarrassment for us. We did give them a tough time, and Jurgen Klopp himself said that it was a good game, and that we certainly gave them a game. It wasn't easy, so that's something to take away from it. One now to the next game, and hopefully that is going to be a good game for us, because it's going to be Brighton, and you know, Brighton are currently 4th in the Premiership. I think they've only lost 1 in the last 5 games, so it's going to be a tough game for us. But I think, given the opposition and given the fans and the players know what it means to play against Brighton, I'm quite confident that we'll take something away from there. We just need to focus, I think, and try to keep our concentration up for the whole 90 minutes, and I think that we'll do it. I think we're more than capable of finishing, maybe, if not middle of the table, then top 10, I think. And I think that we're going to be fine. So it's all good news. Hopefully things will continue to improve, and we'll get a good goal out against Brighton. And until next time, thank you for joining me. As always, please remember to subscribe and like the channel if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to it as a podcast, please don't forget to review and rate, and all that good stuff for the podcast. It really does help a huge amount. And until next time, thank you for joining. Bye bye.